Right, today I'm talking to Rohan Stevenson, the mastermind behind the band I Built the Sky. He has an epic new video which you are seeing clips of right now and an album entitled Promise Me You Will Thrive coming out May 29th of this year, 2026. Progressive metal? Yes, he's got you covered. Let's go. Hi, I'm Mear. Nice to meet you, Rohan.
Thanks for having me.
There's a lot to cover, man. A lot to cover. I know. I was going through your about stuff on your website, and so many things have happened so quickly. I do want to go back to early stuff, but 2019 is where you decided to quit your day job and go and make I Built the Sky full time. How scary was that to do, or did you think you were just ready to go?
It just had to happen. It was more so. It just had to happen. Where I was at wasn't working, and it was the only path forwards in my mind. So yeah, it was a bit scary, but I had been thinking about it for a long time leading up to that moment. So I had prepared myself across all angles, and so when it was time, it just felt right. And yeah.
You did pretty extensive touring before. Was it a thing where it seems like it was impossible to do both, so you had to kind of choose one over the other situation?
Yeah, it was getting to that point where my job was refusing me to do these things that were like opportunities that were showing up for me.
Yeah. And
that just didn't sit well with me, and it just made me realize how I'm in the wrong place, and I need to change this so that I can follow this passion of mine, I think everyone's circumstance is unique, and it's all good. Some of my musical heroes work full time,
sure,
in some unrelated field. I think it's all good. It's whatever suits you, whatever you're happy with, whatever works for your life and your lifestyle, and that I think is cool. It's not a competition who can make the most money in prog music or something, to me.
Right.
If I was trying to make more money, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Wouldn't be this style of music.
It is a passion thing, man. That's a good
100%.
point. Like there's a lot easier ways to make a living and make money, but if it's not fulfilling, then it's not really making a living, is it?
That's it.
So, looking through some of the bands you've toured with, between the Buried in Me and Sean, Dillinger Escape Plan, Monuments, Polyphia, Pliny, Intervals, 12 Foot Ninja, I've come across your music before. It was brought to me during one of my live streams. There's a thing, one of my viewers coined a little term called patient songwriting, which is usually applied to vocal bands, where it's like a slow delivery, you kind of hang on every word, and I love that because it keeps you interested, and you're able to do that with instrumental music with no lyrics, but you're able to do it with just kind of what you're emoting through your songwriting, and I find that kind of fascinating.
All the elements need to line up at the end of the day, the emotional intent of the piece. So although I like to do technical things here and there, if I feel like it's not serving the song, it's not going to make it in the song, so
right.
Yeah, I try to balance all the elements, and I'm naturally a guitar player, so I'm naturally trying to do fun things that they're fun to play, but also the sounds that the kind of emotion it pushes is the right vibe of the song. That's what I find really tricky, and which is what I paid the most attention to in this release and this album, is like the emotional feelings within the pieces. So I love heavy music, so sometimes you write heavy music that's got a more like a darker edge to it, or a meaner sort of vibe to it, or whatever, because it's fun and it sounds cool. But yeah, for this one, I really wanted every song to have this really uplifting vibe about it, and just have that emotional connection of positivity, basically.
It comes across, man. It really does. Being able to get those emotions through instrumental music is something that's a skill in itself. I don't know. I guess most people who do instrumental music are trying to get across.
For sure.
But listening to your music, I went back and listened to some of my own, and I realized the last album I put out, I was I was skipping songs or I was skipping through parts of the music. And it made me realize that you shouldn't do that with your own stuff. Like, you should want to hear everything you recorded.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I've spent a long time on these songs, 10 songs that I've really honed in on, I suppose. So I definitely try to, every note, every millisecond of sound is very deliberate and very intentional. And if it's all to do with serving the song as a whole. So, the solo comes in at this point in time because that's when the peak of the song is, or, this quiet bit is here because it sets up the next bit too,
Right.
So everything has its place, I suppose, and I spend a lot of time piecing the puzzles together and experimenting, going from this section to this section, or making a riff around something and then rewriting that same riff 5 times, so it just really, really dials in. So yeah, I think that's required when you want to get you want to know that you've done everything you can for this song, and usually that's going to give you the best results.
That can be a maddening thing about writing music, is knowing when to stop, right? Because you can forever you can redo something or try this note or try that note or everything. At some point, you got to tell yourself, "Look, man, I think you got it." Do you have? Let's get into, I guess, the songwriting aspect of it. How a song gets started. If you kind of do it on your own and then get some outside input on it or collaborate, or is there a favorite way to get started with a song?
I write it myself, and I write it alone to begin with. And for this one, I had other musicians come in to do the drums and things like that, bass and keys. In the past, I've done it all myself, like programming and things like that. But for this one, I had some collaborators in that sense. But the actual songs themselves, I like to do that myself, like uninterrupted in a way, because I know what I want, and I know what I'm going for. And collaborating is amazing, and you get great results doing that. But I think for what works for me, I need to hone in on this thing in my head, this sound and this emotion that I'm trying to get going, and flesh out the form of the songs and things like that, which it's a lot of trial and error, a lot of experimenting, trying, just manipulating notes until it feels right. And then, I'll go away. I'll write like a riff or a section or maybe 2 sections of music. Then I'll take that away and I'll listen to it in my headphones when I'm going for a walk with the dog or something, and sort of things will start to occur to me when I'm taking on the listener perspective. It's like it starts to be more clear in my mind when I'm not in the moment creating. I'm sort of reflecting back, and then I'll think I should put a pause in here. That'll make that next bit really hit, or I should do a clean section before that section comes in, because that'll lift that up a bit more, and things like that. So I go back and forth and just keep going until, I look at the time, like when it starts to have 3.5, 4 minutes of length, then in my mind I'm like, okay, that's kind of like a song in a lot of ways, that indicates that this is a typical sort of song amount of time. So I can start thinking of it as song structure and not needing to feel like I need to write more. And if I do feel like I need to write more, which was the case in this first single,
a little more than 3.5, 4 minutes.
Yeah, but that's why I cut it in half to make two songs out of that, because I wanted to do that, and it felt like it works. And I wanted to have a song that sort of had 2 personalities to it, and has a seamless thing, from one to the next sort of thing. So that's a very rare circumstance. Like previous to those 2 songs, my longest ever song was 6 minutes, and that's with a 1 minute piano outro. So kind of 5 minutes. that was me giving it everything I got. That's a song called The Zenith Rise. So when I wrote that was in 2019 that I wrote that. To me at that moment, I'm like, that is everything I've got. I have nothing more to give. And that's how I felt. So now I've actually got another song that's coming that's 8.5 minutes as well. So yeah, I don't know. I've progressed in some way, I suppose.
One thing you mentioned about writing music is when you kind of step away from it, come back and try and listen to it as like an observer, or just listening to it as opposed to writing it. I think that's something that's very important, but it's also it's really hard to do. Like, if you don't write music, you may not understand, like, when you're listening to your own music, you know it inside and out. And to kind of just listen to it objectively that's difficult to do.
I think that's a skill you've got to sort of develop over time. Yeah, so sort of cut yourself away from the artist and become the listener, you know.
Going from, so you had instrumentals come in and record parts you would normally program. Did that affect even though you had them kind of fleshed out what you wanted to do, did that affect any direction in the music as it's being recorded? Or do you kind of stick to what you got?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a little bit of both. Certain things, I wanted them to be pretty much exactly like that. You know, and it's stuff that makes sense, like drums and bass that supports the guitar riff, you know. But we also experimented a lot. So there was a lot of new stuff that got introduced from that process. And I mean, I'm working with amazing musicians, so I'd be stupid not to utilize their talents, you know.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, so some things changed and got evolved, and yeah, and it was fun because I was working with everyone at the time, you know, like I'd sit in on some bass sessions and things, and we would both sort of just experiment together and discuss things. And you know, like, what if you slid up to that note at the end, or, you know, what if this part had bass harmonics and things, you know?
Yeah.
So we got to spend a lot of time honing in on instruments, and yeah, it's a very comfortable and natural evolution of the songs.
That's awesome. That sounds like it had to be pretty satisfying when, I don't know, I've always said if you're going to be in a band, make sure everybody else is a better musician than you, because that you know, if they're exceeding or right with you, then you're gonna sound good, you know. And if you bring in musicians that ideally you're gonna bring in musicians you respect and you want to hear, then yeah, of course, like you said, it'd be silly not to listen to them if they have an idea or whatever. So let's go in the Wayback Machine. How did you get started? What was the first thing to where you said, hey, I need to do something musically? What was it that kind of set you off in that direction?
I think it was just listening to cool music of the day, and just, I don't know, something about music hooked me in pretty early. And in high school in particular, I learnt guitar from my guitar teacher, and my guitar teacher was the coolest dude ever. So I kind of wanted to be like that, you know. And everyone at my school had a really good music program, so there was lots of bands and lots of, like, you know, battle of the bands and performances at school and that sort of thing, and just a lot of fun. And I just was fascinated with music, and especially like rock and punk and that sort of stuff. It just seemed so cool, and I was addicted. Yeah.
So just guitar, or did you kind of experiment with anything else? I imagine you kind of, if you need a piano part, you can figure out a part to add to what you want to do.
For sure. I did learn piano when I was really, really young. That was like the first instrument I started to learn. Yeah. So okay. I learned piano. I did classical piano for a little bit, but going into secondary school, piano wasn't cool enough. You know. So I wanted to do, all the cool kids were doing guitar and that. So I wanted to learn guitar, and once I started learning guitar, I was done with everything else. I was addicted to guitar.
Have you retained any of your piano instruction?
Yeah. Nah. I mean, I know how to read. I know how to read, and, you know, I think I could pick it back up quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't have a piano or a keyboard or anything. So I'm not doing it on any regular basis or anything like that. But yeah, it did teach me a lot. It taught me the fundamentals. So that was good in that way.
All right. So band influences. What's the first thing you wanted to emulate? Like, I'm going to play guitar and do this.
Blink 182, Green Day, those punk bands. And then I started getting into like more obscure bands, heaps of obscure bands. I was hanging around circles of people that were into unknown bands and things like that. Plus there was like lots of local bands that we would go and see and start to like and get to know local bands and things. A lot of punk and rock mainly. And then you just expanding on different tastes, and people like my friends would always bring in like something new and be like, "Oh, you got to hear this. This is crazy. Like, or this is the heaviest thing ever," or that kind of thing. So it was always sharing music and artists with friends, and being obsessed with this band and that band, and yeah, definitely started off with the punk stuff, and I still love punk like to this day. I saw Yellow Card. Like the weekend just gone, which was really awesome. So I definitely love that style of music, and I think I kind of weave a little bit of that into my music now, even now. Yeah, I'm influenced by tons of bands.
I think that's great. It seems like there used to be, I don't know, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Pretty old.
Pretty old?
I'm in my 30s.
30s? I'm 48. You're young. You're fine. So there's a pretty good gap in kind of what was going on in our youth. For me, it used to be like easier to tell who influenced artists, and now it's getting more and more difficult to tell because there's so much. Like when I was a kid, I mean, if you were playing rock, it was Zeppelin, it was Hendrix, it was stuff like that. It was kind of easy to tell because everybody's kind of emulating it. Now the music has broadened so much that you have somebody like you who is very technical and emotional music, and then I wouldn't guess you're influenced by punk rock. Like is like the thing that got you into it. I think it's a really cool thing because my main influences, I always talk about like Nine Inch Nails, Faith No More, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, but none of that shows up in anything I really write, but it's always there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it all influences you in some way, even if it influences you to not do that sort of thing. You might like a certain sound, but you don't do that in your own artistic expression, Yeah, it's all a big soup, I think. And nowadays people's music gets blended even more extreme. Like like you've got bands that have like EDM / metal and funk / metal and I don't know, punk / metal, and it's just getting crazy because there's just we're able to hear so much more music because of the internet. So we're probably finding bands like you would never be able to find not having this access, this level of access to everyone's uploading whatever.
Yeah, as opposed to going out and just trying stuff and see what it sounds like.
I dare say that's a big part of hearing different genres that you probably would never expect to exist. It's
just so easy to hear so much music that sometimes you might miss a lot of music because of that. Like the thing that can bring it to you can kind of obscure it as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of bands. Are there any guitarists that kind of were like a main influence to,
A little bit, but more so bands themselves and good songwriters is what I draw to and still draw to now. Like I do like certain guitarists, especially in the like modern progressive space.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the late 2000s, discovering the gent scene, like Misha Mansour and things, and Tesseract and that sort of thing, definitely piqued my interest and made me kind of open new doors for what was possible, especially with creating yourself as a soloist with production techniques like programming drums and bass and things like that. Another artist that I'm a massive fan of and inspired by is this artist called Tenkan, Tenkan. who does remixes, metal remixes of pop songs.
Yeah.
And it's the coolest shit ever.
There's so many talented people in the world, man, in so many different ways. My ears are open to, from what I do, that there are just millions of people that are super talented. And, if you can't find music to listen to, you're just not trying,
Absolutely. It's crazy. So much great music everywhere, online. I'm constantly finding new artists on like TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, man. You know what? It's brought me back around to bands I didn't know about, especially from Australia. I got some friends from Australia now, and they're like, check this out, listen to this. I'm like, dude, how long has this been around, and why did we never hear of it? 12 Foot Ninja was brought to my attention a few years ago, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I wish I would have heard of this sooner. It's so awesome. Which you've been able to work with them too, or tour with them, right?
We did actually do a tour, a festival tour in Australia around 2022, I think it was. Yeah, great guys. I know the guys. They're all awesome.
All right. So did you, starting out, you said there's a lot of bands around. Did you play with a lot of bands, trying to figure out, just play with bands or do any gigs or local shows and stuff like that?
My whole life revolved around it. I was in my own original bands since high school. So
yeah,
since I was about like maybe 13, I was in bands. 12 maybe, performing at school. So we would play at school a lot. My very first performances was Blink-182 and Green Day. I think it was When I Come Around and Damn It or something.
Yeah.
Or What's My Age Again, one of those songs. I remember that performance actually, so that's crazy. And then we would just write. We would always would meet up after school and try and write our own music. And lots of bands in my school were writing their own music and branched out, played with other people as well. Yeah, like I was just driven to do it.
That teaches you a lot, playing with other people and
100%.
multiple people, and
yeah,
you see different kind of dedication and demeanor as far as musicianship goes and how to treat other people.
Absolutely.
You mentioned like Gent coming around, and that kind of made me think of my parents, the music my dad had that I listened to and liked. There's stuff in my youth that wasn't around when he was a kid, like hip hop and rap came up, after he was a kid, but it was part of my youth. And then like Gent was a thing that wasn't around. It's interesting to me to think about that, to where this thing didn't exist for this person's time, when they were developing or like growing up and listening to music. Like I like hearing new stuff that wasn't around, as opposed to I don't like that because it's new and different.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are not open-minded to new music at a certain point in time, so they just tend to not like it. Where I feel like I'm very open-minded. I like new stuff, old stuff, whatever. If feels like it's a good song or it sounds good to me, then I'm all about it.
If it's good, it's good, huh? I'm sure a lot of people reach times where they're like, I don't listen to this kind of music, or I just like this stuff. But I've gotten to where if it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's a country song or fucking hip hop or something you don't usually listen to. If it grabs you, then let it grab you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about Start of Something Beautiful, Snapshots from a Dream. Two. There's an idea so big you had to split up into two songs. This video, which was really pretty epic. You've made some pretty epic videos in the past, some great locations, beautiful locations and stuff. Was this shoot, what was different about it, or was it the concept?
I mean, I felt like I wanted to level up a bit. I feel like whatever I do at the time, whatever creative pursuit I'm doing at the moment, it has to be the best one. I can't go back. Right. So I'm always trying to up myself in everything. The songs, the way the songs are, the musicianship, the presentation, the mixes, the production and the video clips, same thing. So I thought, what could level up here? And I was looking at videographers and different things and getting inspiration from videos and other artists and things. And yeah, that's just what I come up with. I
kind of realized too, is just kind of what you just said, where everything, the current thing you're working on should be like the best thing you've ever done? Like, if it's not, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, I have no interest in doing something not that doesn't offer something new or something exciting. And for me too, like that's the whole drive as an artist, you know. What can I do now? I've learned this and this from these releases. How can I incorporate what I've learned and make it even bigger? And yeah,
it's an intimidating thought to have kind of goals or maybe artists you want to emulate, and you reach that point, and then to think, well, I have to do something better next time. If you're currently doing the best thing you've ever done, how are you going to do better? You know, but that's the trick, isn't it?
Well, that's why it's a slow process, because a lot of time goes by between releases. It's not going to be you're not going to release something in the next 6 months. It's going to be its own thing in time when you're ready, when you're back in that headspace. So I don't force myself to start the next album when I'm not inspired to or anything like that. You know, it happens when it happens, and I think by the time my motivation and inspiration comes back for music, I'm a whole different person, I suppose. You know.
Wow, man. Oh, I did want to touch on 2022, The Quiet Place Away. You did an acoustic album.
Yeah.
When you're writing, do you kind of just grab a guitar, or do you usually start with acoustic, or is there? I mean, I imagine it can go one of many ways when something comes to your head, but I always have a guitar like handy if I have an idea. You know.
Yeah. It goes a few ways, but like 80% of the time, I'm in my studio on my computer, playing with programmed drums and riffing to the drums. So I just make some sort of beat, find a tempo. I have an idea in my head of the kind of vibe I want to go for.
Yeah.
You know, and I just sort of start there and just experiment and, you know, explore the guitar and explore different sounds that I'm trying to go for. Sometimes on the couch, you know, it's 2 a.m. and you're watching some random YouTube video on space or something.
Sure.
And you might start noodling away and something piques your ear a little bit. So sometimes that happens. So my phone's full of like phone videos of me on the couch playing some random thing. Yeah. I've had a few instances of just like something just comes to my head, some sort of riff, and I need to quickly find a guitar and quickly record that before I forget. Mostly I don't record it, so it just gets lost forever. But one of them I did capture and became a song.
Yeah, I've done that thing where it's like, oh, well, that's so good, I'll never forget that. Then as soon as I finally get to record, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot the best riff I ever came up with.
Yeah.
Is a lot of it through just jamming to a drum beat?
Yeah, I'd say like 80%. 80% of it is I'm at my computer. I've got Pro Tools open, drum beats going away. You know, whether that could be a certain groove or maybe it's two grooves like that change and alter or something like that, and just playing along and recording and experimenting, and then I'll start to find the groove on something like certain group of notes or this certain technique that I'm exploring. I can start to feel like I'm dialing in some sort of a repetitive riff, you know, and then I'll just start recording it and then listening back. Like I said, maybe I'll come back in a few days and I'll have a whole new perspective on it, and that'll lead me in a different direction or something like that. But yeah, just a lot of exploring and trying things in the safety of my home with no one listening in or watching.
Is the beat in your head and you just kind of lay down the feet, like you're talking about having a feel for it? You have a rhythm that you're trying to...
No, I just like program the drums, you know, like just simple stuff that...
Okay.
Hi-hats going, you know.
Okay.
Loop that over and, you know... Then you start jamming and then you start adding in a weird accent on your riff, you know. So then I might put a kick drum on that weird accent to really lock in with that, you know. And then I just grow it and grow it.
It's easier to play once you have like even a basic beat down as opposed to like a click or, you know, whatever. If you have a real drum sound in there, it's easier to kind of get that feel.
Yeah, it's just a lot more inspiring.
Sure. Very cool. I think that's grown into be one of my favorite things is tweaking the drum beat around. It's like a give and take where you have your riff and then you bring the drums in, and then once you start messing with the drums, it can kind of affect where the riff goes, or it's such a wave writing experience just writing a song. But I like going back and making the drums sound interesting, as opposed to a long time ago where it'd just be like, just a straight beat's fine. What's important is the guitar. It's like, no, dude, the whole song's important.
Yeah, of course.
So the start of Something Beautiful, Snapshots from a Dream. This is your first single off your forthcoming album, yeah?
Yeah.
Available for pre-order now?
Yep, it's available for pre-order now on my website, which is just ibuiltthesky.com. I'm doing a limited run of vinyl, nice. And I'm doing CDs for the first time in 7 years.
Wow.
So that's pretty different, and I've already had a bunch of sales on CDs, which are blowing my mind. I was a bit on the fence about doing it, but people seem to want CDs. I don't mind CDs. It's fun, nostalgic format.
Wow.
So yeah, you can get them now, and they'll be there. I mean, the physical stuff is going to be there while it lasts. Digital downloads will be coming via Bandcamp.
Okay.
Which that'll be coming in the next week, I think. And I've got more things coming down the line, like tabs.
Oh, cool.
So there'll be definitely tabs and other little knickknacks, like actually the strings I used on the album to record the album. I'm going to have a few sets of strings that I'm going to put up for sale. Picks nice. I used on the album, and I've even traced down which pick was used on what song. So when I put them up, you'll know that this pick was used on this song to record it.
That's cool. How did you manage that?
So,
just from having video of it, or?
I was just diligent with it. I had, those like sandwich bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would use it, and I'd label the bag. So this is song 1, song 2, and I would put that in, get a new pick when I needed it. So. There's not many, but there's a few.
Was that just a foresight, like I'm going to sell these, or was there anything like this pick sounds best for this track?
Well, it's the same pick every time.
Okay.
I only use one type of pick. Actually, there are 2 different types of picks. 0.88 mil max grip and 0.72 mil max grip Dunlop max grip picks, which I've used for probably 15 years now. Yeah, no, I just thought it'd be a fun little different thing to offer. Every time you play a show, everyone wants a pick.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So I thought, why not get a pick that's signed, used on the album? You'll have a plaque that goes with it. And I thought that just could be a fun thing to offer.
No, that'd be cool. When you're listening to the song, it came from that pick.
That's it.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy hearing you say that CDs was a nostalgic thing, because I remember when they came out.
Yeah.
But vinyl now, man. My son, he's 17 and he's got 25, 30 vinyl out. He likes old stuff. I've got him some new stuff, and he just loves listening to them. One of my son's friends was like, "You put out an album, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, can you make CDs?" I'm like, I mean, there's a time where everybody had a CD burner like in their computer, and now like nobody does. I'm like, I had to order them, man. I'm like, you got them.
That's been sitting there for decades.
Right. I still have a stack in my closet, actually. Yeah. Man, thank you for taking time to talk to me.
Oh, thanks for having me. And thanks for your reaction video. That's awesome to see.
It was my pleasure, man. I had there was definitely people who've seen that and they're like, dude, I got to check out this band, and that's all I want. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man, a pleasure. Right. Thanks again, and appreciate everything.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your album. I will. I'm just gonna let people know about it, and I'll try and get as many people to it as I can, man. What you're doing is pretty amazing.
Thanks, brother.